Dear students, I am Professor Prakash Rao, M.Com Coordinator, Tunga College, Tirthahalli. This is my 12th video on the subject Indian Accounting Standard. In this video, I am covering Ind AS 23, which explains how interest costs, that is borrowing costs, are capitalized. That means interest costs are considered as part of cost of asset that is being constructed or acquired. In AS 23, borrowing cost requires that borrowing costs directly attributable to the acquisition, construction or production of a qualifying asset are included in the cost of the asset. That means if the concern borrows money for construction, acquisition, etc. of asset, which may be considered as qualifying asset, are parts of the cost of the asset. In case the concern borrows funds for other purposes, that should be treated as an expense. Now here the question of qualifying asset. Qualifying asset is an asset that takes substantial period of time to get ready for its intended use or sale. That could be property, plant and equipment, and investment property during the construction period, intangible assets during the development period, or made to order inventories. That means if the acquisition, construction, development, or to make the product according to customers' orders, etc., takes time. During that time, if the concern has borrowed money for such development of the asset, the cost that relates to borrowing, that is interest cost, and also if there is foreign exchange fluctuations with reference to foreign loans up to certain limitation, can be considered as cost of the asset. That is, it is capitalized. Borrowing cost may include interest on bank overdraft and borrowings, finance charges on finance leases, exchange differences arising from foreign currency borrowings to the extent that they are regarded as adjustment to interest cost. The second item you will understand when I take up an illustration. Accounting treatment. Recognition of borrowing costs. Borrowing costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition, construction or production of a qualifying asset form part of the cost of the asset and therefore should be capitalized. That means the funds borrowed specifically for acquisition, construction, etc. of an asset becomes cost of the asset. It becomes part of the cost of the asset and the interest should be hence capitalized. Measurement, that is calculation of interest. Where funds are borrowed specifically, costs eligible for capitalization are the actual costs incurred less any income earned on temporary investment of such borrowings. It means if funds are borrowed for developing an asset and if spare funds are used in the meantime before investing or in the interim period of development somewhere else to earn income, that income should be reduced or deducted from the interest cost. Capitalization. It refers to adding the interest and other related costs as part of cost of asset in consideration. That means how much the amount is added to the cost of asset in the form of interest and other related costs are treated as capitalization of expense. The interest for capitalization should be calculated from the period of commencement of incurring the expenditure for the asset with borrowings. If the borrowings are made for the purpose of construction, etc. of an asset, from the date of the commencement of the activity of development of the asset, the interest has to be calculated. Capitalization should be suspended during the period in which activity or development of the asset is interrupted. In case the activity of development of the asset is stopped or interrupted, calculation of interest for that interrupted period or stoppage period should also be stopped. Capitalization of attributable borrowing cost should cease when substantially all the activities in building of the assets are complete. That means when when most of the work or substantially all the activities of building are complete, then capitalization or calculation of cost subsequent to that period should be stopped. With regarding disclosure, amount of borrowing costs capitalized during the period, that means how much borrowing costs are capitalized, that should be disclosed. Then capitalization rate used, at what rate the capitalization has been done, the things should be disclosed under the standard. Now I'll take up two examples. In the first example, we shall see how the interest cost, that is borrowing costs, are calculated along with the foreign exchange fluctuation loss and gain, of course. An entity borrowed rupees $1,000 on 1st April 2019 when $1 equals 40 rupees. The rate of interest is 4%. At that time, if it had borrowed loan from Indian land, Indian loan interest is 12%. That is on the amount borrowed from the foreign land in dollar terms. The same could be borrowed in Indian land and interest rate would be 12%. Exchange rate on 31st March 20 is $1 equals 50. The exchange rate changes from 40 rupees to 50 rupees. The loan is used for qualifying asset. Find the interest eligible for capitalization. Then the subsidiary question is how much it will be if closing exchange rate is 41 or 39 instead of 50 rupees. Now we shall answer the first part of the question. An entity can borrow funds in its functional currency, that is rupees, at 12%. That means locally the funds are available at 12% interest, that is the borrowing in Indian rupees. It borrows, however, $1,000 at 4% on 1st April 19 when dollar equals rupees 40. The equivalent amount in functional currency is 40,000. That means $1,000 into 40 rupees initially, and therefore 1,000 into 40 becomes 40,000. So locally, if it is borrowed, 40,000 loan will be borrowed and at 12% interest. Interest is payable on 31st March 20. On 31st 20, exchange rate changes to $1 equals rupees 50. The loan is not due for payment. The exchange loss in this case is 1,000 into 50 minus 40 rupees. That means initially it was 40 rupees, then the exchange rate changes to 50. That means there is exchange loss of 10 rupees per dollar. So for $1,000, 10,000 foreign exchange loss is there, because in case the loan has to be returned, then the concern has to pay rupees 50 per dollar. So there is a loss of 10,000. The borrowing cost is 2,000 because it has borrowed $1,000 at 4% interest. At the current rate, at the year end, it is 50 rupees per dollar. So 1,000 into 4% into 50 becomes 2,000 as borrowing cost. That is when it has borrowed in dollar terms. Had the entity borrowed in functional currency, that is in rupees, the borrowing cost would have been 4,800, because that amount equivalent to rupees 40,000 at 12% comes to 4,800. Now the entity can treat the borrowing cost up to this amount, including borrowing cost in dollar terms and exchange loss, if any. That means the ceiling amount of treating the borrowing cost is 4,800 because it can borrow locally at 12% interest, so it becomes 4,800. The entity will treat exchange difference, that is 4,800 minus 2,000, the amount of interest that applies to loan in dollar terms. So 4,800 the maximum borrowing cost, 2,000 is the current interest rate. So that is the saving 2,800 can be adjusted for exchange loss. So exchange difference 2,800 can be adjusted with the borrowing cost. As the borrowing cost that may be eligible for capitalization under this standard. Thus the total eligible borrowing cost 2,000 plus 2,800 exchange loss, that is 4,800, equivalent to the cost of borrowing in functional currency, because 4,800 would be the interest cost if it has borrowed locally. The amount of net exchange loss is 10,000 minus 2,800. 10,000 is the total exchange loss. Out of that, 2,800 is adjusted with the borrowing cost that is capitalized. So the difference 7,200 to be treated separately in profit and loss account. It should not be added to the cost of asset. If the exchange rate on 31st March 2020 is $1 equals 41 rupees, that means we are answering the second part of the question. Instead of 50 rupees, exchange rate turns to 41 rupees. Then there is exchange loss of 1 rupee per dollar, so there is $1,000. So 1 rupee into 1,000 equals 1,000 is the net foreign exchange loss. The entity will treat the entire exchange loss as an eligible borrowing cost, as total cost of borrowing will be 2,000, that is interest cost, plus 1,000 exchange loss is rupees 3,000. So the total borrowing cost can be treated as rupees 3,000, because in this case the borrowing cost in foreign currency and exchange loss is within the limit of cost of borrowing in functional currency, that is 4,800, because 4,800 is the cost of borrowing locally. So within that limit, the exchange loss can also be adjusted. So the borrowing cost is stated as 2,000 plus 1,000, that is rupees 3,000. If in case the exchange rate becomes $1 equals rupees 39, so there is a saving of 1 rupee per dollar. So 1 rupee per dollar into 1,000 means 1,000 loss, 1,000 gain is there. The eligible borrowing cost will be 2,000 only. The gain will not be adjusted with the borrowing cost. That is, the eligible borrowing cost will be rupees 2,000 being the interest paid to the foreign lender. The exchange gain of 1,000 rupees has to be treated separately in the profit and loss account. It means if there is foreign exchange loss, to some extent up to the limit of local currency cost, the loss can be adjusted, whereas in case of gain, the gain has to be separated and it should be treated in profit and loss account, so it cannot be adjusted with the borrowing cost. Now we shall go to another illustration. In this illustration, it is explained as to how the interim gain, that is funds borrowed for the construction of an asset, is used for some other purpose and some gain is theirs, that is adjusted with the borrowing cost. Alpha Limited on 1st April 19 borrowed 9% 30 lakh to finance the construction of two qualifying assets. Construction started on 1st April 2019. The loan facility was availed on 1st April 19 and was utilized as follows, with remaining funds invested temporarily at 7%. The interest is 9% per annum, and during the period of construction, a part of the loan is used to invest temporarily and 7% interest is obtained. The details are given here. For factory building, total investment is 10 lakh. For office building, total investment is 20 lakh out of 30 lakh. For factory building on 1st April 19, 5 lakh is invested. After 6 months, another 5 lakh is invested. For office building, initially 10 lakh is invested, and after 6 months, that is on 1st October, another 10 lakh is invested. During the gap period, the remaining amount, 5 lakh in case of factory building and 10 lakh in case of office building, is invested. Calculate the cost of asset and borrowing cost to be capitalized. The details of working is given here. Borrowing cost, 10 lakh for factory building into 9%, so 90,000 is the interest cost. Whereas for office, it is 20 lakh total investment and 9% interest means 1,80,000. Less investment income, because the investment is not fully made at once. So the remaining amount is invested somewhere else at 7% interest. That is for half year, 17,500 is the income with reference to factory building. So total interest cost that is payable is 90,000, 17,500 income earned, that is gain. So net 72,500 is interest cost with reference to factory building. So expenditure incurred for factory building is 10 lakh. This 72,500 is capitalized. So 10 lakh 72,500 would be the total factory building cost. Now with reference to office building, 1 lakh 45,000 is the net interest income after deducting the income here. 20 lakh is the total cost of the asset. Then 1 lakh 45,000 is the net borrowing cost, so it becomes 21 lakh 45,000 as the total cost of office building. In this illustration, the interest cost and the income earned during interim period of investment as to how it is adjusted and how the total net interest cost is capitalized is explained. Perhaps you have understood these two illustrations and followed the Indian Accounting Standard number 23 with reference to borrowing cost. Thank you.